Hi, it's Mike with AskTractorMike.com. Well, a couple of weeks ago I posted a video about my vote for the worst tractor of all time. And going forward, I'm going to try to be a little bit more positive person. You know, we've all been through all this political mess and all the crazy things that are going on in the world, and we tend to get kind of negative. And I'm going to try to be more positive moving forward, starting with today's video. And today I'm going to talk about, in my career in the farm equipment business, my 5 most favorite products to sell. And those of you that watch my videos know I worked for AGCO Corporation for 10 years. I managed a big New Holland dealership for 11 years. And since then, I've got an online store that still sells stuff. And so I've been around the equipment business a long time. And I've got 5 products that really stand out as my favorites, that were really good. And to be on my list, you've got to meet 5 criteria. Number 1, it's got to solve a problem. Number 2, it's got to offer value for the money. Probably won't be the cheapest in the market, but the best value for the dollar. Number 3, it's got to have some longevity to it. I don't want to ever recommend something that's going to fall apart after 1 year. You have to get rid of it. Number 4, and let's be honest here, it's got to make money for the person selling it. You know, that's the game. The dealership or the company that built it has got to make some money. And number 5, and this is the big one for me, it's got to have great customer satisfaction ratings. The people that buy it are going to have to love it. So here, in no particular order, are my 5 favorite products of all time, and you've got your own favorite product. When I get to the end, put it in the comments down below what your favorite products in the equipment business are, and we'll compare our notes. So number 1, and I didn't sell very many of these, but the ones I sold I was really glad to sell, is a Hesston Big Square Baler. So if you travel to the western U.S. or really anywhere around the world where they raise high quality hay and you see these big rectangular square bales, there's a really good chance that was made by a Hesston Square Baler. Now, it may not say Hesston on the side of it. It may say Massey Ferguson, it might say Fendt. Some of the older ones might have said Case IH, but that's the product I'm talking about, a Hesston Big Square Baler. And that was developed in 1978 in Hesston, Kansas. There was a guy named Lyle Yost that started Hesston Corporation, and he was an innovator, and a team of engineers developed the first big square baler. And they had a lot of work to get a good design that could hold that much hay together. And the advantage of a big square baler is you can transport it. You can load it on a semi-truck and transport it down the road, and there was a big demand for that. And it also speeds up hay production. But the Hesston Square Balers that I sold, the people that bought them in my area, we don't raise high quality hay. The guys I was selling them to generally were putting up volumes and volumes of hay, and they had gone from a round baler to a square baler. And a square baler can put up hay twice as fast. You can get twice as much of it in a barn, and it probably lasts twice as long. Big square baler versus a round baler. And I had one of my salesmen one time tell me the best feeling in the whole world is to trade a guy out of a round baler into a Hesston Big Square Baler and talk to him 2 days later. And I felt the exact same way. It is a great product. My second favorite product is a tractor, and it was built by Massey Ferguson, and AGCO purchased Massey Ferguson while I was an employee with AGCO. And the series I'm talking about is a 300 series and some of the 200 series, and later a 4200 series, and they were built in Coventry, England at the plant on Banner Lane. And the products that came out of that plant were amazing. This factory was built in 1945 to make the older series Massey tractors. I think actually they made a few Massey Harris tractors, and later Massey Ferguson, and at their peak they were making 70,000 tractors a year. I think they employed something like 6,000 people or something like that. It was a huge facility. And the tractors built in that plant were built heavy. They were fairly simple. There were not a lot of bells and whistles on them, and not enough for some people, but for most people in my area, it was all you needed. Just a basic tractor, built heavy with a Perkins engine, and built for a long life. And they were tremendously popular. They were cheap to rebuild. They got great fuel economy. and people that bought them absolutely loved them and still love them to this day. They're still out running around. You very rarely see tractors like a 240 or a 253 or a 383 or anything like that traded in on something else because they're built for the long haul. They'll be around a long time. Sadly, they moved the production of the Massey 4200 series to a plant in France, and the old Massey plant at Banner Lane in Coventry, they blew up the big tower that was there, and I think now it's just an area that's housing developments. But that factory built a quality product for a lot of years, and sadly it's no longer available. Now, they did have a few disadvantages. We had some air conditioning problems. They seemed like it never could keep the operator cool enough on a cab tractor on the 4200 series, and all of them seemed to have the worst paint in the world. It start chipping off pretty shortly after they were new. But for the rest of the tractor, the longevity and how heavy it was built and the fuel economy and the economy of owning it, it was off the scale. I loved selling those tractors. And if you watch my videos, you know I've got a Massey 362. It was one that I sold to my dad, and he used it on his apple orchard for years, and when he passed away, I got it. So Massey 300 series and 4200 series were amazing tractors, and you can't buy them that good today. The third thing on my list is something I actually sell now, and I'll put a plug in for it, but it's something that when you sell it to a customer, it just opens up a whole new world for them, and it's quick attach for your front bucket. I got into this YouTube thing and didn't know I'd get back into the retail business, but my little niche in the world, or niche, however you say that, is making tractors that have pin-on loader buckets quick attach. And there are still dealers and suppliers out there that are supplying these tractors with pin-on buckets. And a customer will go in and he knows he wants quick attach, and he'll ask for a quick attach loader, and a quick attach loader comes off the tractor quickly. That's what a quick attach loader is. A quick attach bucket means it has a faceplate on the front of it where you can pull a couple of levers and get out of the bucket and put on a set of pallet forks or a grapple or whatever you want to use. And a lot of customers that are new to tractors that are buying small tractors buy tractors with pin-on buckets. They don't know they don't have quick attach, and they're a little bit cheaper than the dealer down the road. Well, if that's you, I can help you. We offer quick attach conversion kits for most tractors on my website. And what a quick attach conversion kit is, it's a faceplate that goes on the loader arms. You punch out the 4 pins that hold on the loader bucket. You use those pins to put the faceplate on. And at that point, anything that fits, most of the time, if you're getting a skid loader quick attach, anything that fits a skid loader, which is our most common seller, will fit your tractor. So it opens up a whole new world of opportunity. Now at that point, your loader bucket won't fit the tractor because it's got those old pin-on hangers. So in our kit, we supply a weld-on plate that goes on the back of the bucket. You chisel off those hangers where the pins went in to hold the bucket on, and then weld that plate on, and you've got quick attach. It's the best thing you can add to your tractor. After you put that on, it's really easy to go from a bucket to pallet forks to a grapple to a tree puller, tree shear, any kind of attachment like that, and it's the best investment you can make in your tractor. Hear from people all the time that they're just so happy they found quick attach for their pin-on bucket. The fourth thing that was a great product and unfortunately is no longer available is a new idea disc mower or disc mower conditioner. When we started cutting hay in this country, we'd use a sickle mower. And you get in the spring when it's really lush growth and you start across the field with a sickle mower, you got to be driving real slow or you'll plug that thing up. And if you're trying to get done, and rain's coming and you want to get that hay down so you can get it put in a bale, that's not the thing to own. And along about, I think it was the late 70s, early 80s, Europeans had developed a disc mower. And a disc mower had pods with spinning blades on them that could go right through thick hay. And they started bringing those disc mowers into this country. Now the problem with the European designed disc mowers and disc mower conditioners were they were light. And that's all they needed because they've been picking up rocks in Europe for 500 years. In this country where we've got rocks and obstructions in the field that haven't been taken out, you could tear up a European designed disc mower. So the folks at New Idea designed a heavier version of the European disc mowers. I think they actually copied Lely, a company called Lely from Europe that built those, and they made it heavier. and they improved a few things. Some of the advantages of the new idea disc mower and disc mower conditioners were they had a shaft drive, and so they didn't take as much horsepower, and that was important in my area because we didn't have really high horsepower tractors. If you hit something in the field that didn't move and you bent a shaft, sometimes you could retime the cutter bar and go right back to cutting. You didn't damage a gear drive sump. Also, if you did break a shaft or bend a shaft and you had to take it out, you could do that. And later on, they had segmented shafts, little short shafts that drove the spinners, and you could fix some of those in the field if you hit something you shouldn't. But it was a great design. It was heavy built. It was easily serviceable. The gears ran in grease, cornhead grease they called it, and so you had just a long life machine that was very easy to service, and they were actually priced below the competition. My number one dealer, who was the number one dealer in the country, S&H Farm Supply, who I later went to work for, they were the biggest new idea dealer in the country, was also a New Holland dealer. And I heard a salesman tell a customer one time, he said, you can compare the New Holland to the new idea. The new idea is cheaper and it's better. And they sold thousands of them. And it was a great product and people loved them. Well, the last product on my list, number 5, is probably no surprise to anybody, and that's a New Holland TC boomer tractor. The TC series of tractors, I think, came out in 1999 and lasted till, I want to say, 2008 or 9. They were the first tractors with kind of a slope nose and a slope loader boom so you could see. They had a flip-up hood and a lot of features that customers just loved. If you watch my videos a lot, you know I own a New Holland TC40, and I absolutely love that tractor. It's got all the features I like. It's got a lot of power, a lot of longevity built into it, and just a very, very user-friendly tractor. And the folks that bought them loved them, and if they ever wore them out, which most didn't, they would trade for another one. It was one of the products that I sold in my career that had great customer satisfaction numbers. But the Boomer TC series, which you can't buy anymore, was ahead of its time, and it beat the competition. It was one of my favorite products to sell. It was built by a company called Shibaro, and they built the New Holland compacts and the Ford compacts before that of that era. And New Holland and them got into it, and they don't build them anymore, and it's a shame because that was a really good tractor. Well, those were my 5 favorite products to sell in my career in the equipment business, working both for AGCO Corporation and for a dealership. What was your favorite product of all time? Put it in the comments down below. I appreciate you watching my videos. I'd be honored if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can do that by clicking the mic face icon and check the bell so you get notified when I post future videos. Here's a link to my website and the Tractor Fun Store with cool things for sale for the tractor owner, including quick attach conversion kits. And here's another couple of videos you might want to watch. Thanks for watching.